Clicks and Giggles podcast. I'm so excited to introduce y'all today to some of my dear friends and clients, Becca and Marley from Mind Her Business. Welcome, guys.
Hey.
We're so happy to be here.
Yay. Okay, I could introduce y'all. I won't do it justice. So, Becca, can you just give a brief introduction to how Mind Her Business got started, who you are, and then how Marley came into the mix?
I'm going to try to do this in like a 90-second thing. We'll see if I can do it. I'm going to take you all the way back. My husband and I got married 8 years ago, and I brought $90,000 of debt. He brought $0 of debt. And so we went through a popular financial program to like start getting rid of debt, and we went all in. I'm going to use we, air quotes.
Yeah.
I went all in. Became a psycho with money. So I controlled every single dollar, and I mean every single dollar. And so I knew something had to change the day that he came home, and I was yelling at him for spending $1 on a drink at work that day because he forgot his drink, like human.
And he's precious, so I just can't even imagine.
So sweet. And he's married to me. But so I knew that something had to change, and he wanted to be able to enjoy being married and going out to dinner and things like that. So we came up with our own program, and we were paying off debt and saving and investing and going on vacation and going out to eat and doing things that
and having babies.
Couples like to do. Oh, I forgot about the babies. I forgot about those two kids. It took a little longer to pay off the debt than we imagined it would, but we were a lot happier in the process. And we were able to go after different goals at the same time. So I started teaching other people, helping them with theirs, and it just snowballed into a business. And nobody was talking to women about business finances. Nobody. Like, I had to transfer what I knew about personal finances into business and kind of figure it out. And I was like, oh, people need this. Yeah. Marley, I love to hear Marley talk about how we met and how she came into the fold and we became like business besties.
I know. I want to hear Marley's side of this.
Well, I'll tell you, I come from the business coaching world, and I started in network marketing. I worked my way all the way up to the top in the company that I was with. And then I decided that I was like, I'm just going to totally walk away from after my best year in business ever, because I just had this, like, I want to go online and I want to build a business just from my computer, and I don't want to leave my house, and I don't want to do any of those things anymore. And I really wanted to work with like people like me, like people that were really hungry to be at the top. And so I got into business coaching online, and Becca and I had a mutual friend, another coach, who just made a mistake. She was like, Becca had a problem. She's like, oh, I think Marley does that. And she hooked us up. We got on Zoom, and I was like, oh, I don't help with evergreen funnels. I don't know anything about that, but I could tell you what I do know. And so we just had like an instant friendship, and really started that way. But what happened was I went and watched Becca's stories like the next day, and she was talking about Mind Her Business. I think it was the first round.
Yeah.
It was the very first round. And I had just had her talk to me about what she did. And I was like, she's really smart. She's really good at what she does. I can tell. And then she was in her stories. I was watching them, and I was like, oh, she sounds like she's like having a really hard time like over explaining what she does. And like, it's not, I know she does so much more than how she's able to explain it right now. Like, I can hear the words not coming through. And I just like got some gumption, and I messaged her. I was like, I hope she's not offended, but I was like, I can help you. Like, I know how to talk about like messaging. I want to help you with this offer. And I was like, can I just want to, to talk to you about your business and how to talk about it and make it easier. She was like, yes, please. And so I hopped on a call, and anyway, we had worked together sort of behind the scenes, supporting each other in our businesses for about 2 years before we started working together more formally.
It is so neat. I love that y'all met on the internet, and then I met y'all through the internet, which is the best thing ever. So this is what y'all are doing is so important and good and worthy work. And so it's funny because a question I ask later, but I think it might be good to just start talking about now, is like, where are women leaving money on the table, whether or not they work for themselves or they have other jobs, or maybe they're staying at home. Like, I know you work more with entrepreneurs, but where do y'all see women leaving money on the literal table, but figuratively and literally? Do you, let's segue into that conversation. And also, I'd love to talk about just the program and what you see women struggling with and how y'all can help.
I want to talk about, so we just had our program today. We just came out of the call. And happens all the time. Almost every call, someone says something about similar to this. So groceries is a huge thing. And I know that sounds so like trivial. And also, wah, wah, turn the podcast off. Talking to someone today, and she was like, I just looked at our numbers for January, and we spent $1,500 plus she added in another $400 on the call. So $1,900 on groceries in January. And she was like, it's lack of planning. That's it.
Yeah. It really, yes.
She said they went to the grocery store 21 times also in 1 month. So like that's where she's like, we're just going too much, and then we're hungry probably, and shopping with our eyes. And it's just, she knew there was so much room there,
Gosh, and that's when it's like, I could see that $2,100 trips equals close to that amount, and it's hard to go and not spend $100 right now. I think too about like things I buy. What do they say? Like panic buy. Like I always get like banana peppers. I used to always buy rice cakes. Like now I have to be like, we have it. After COVID, I buy like toilet paper and paper towels all the time. But I truly have to look. I think there's a fridge that like you can put the app on your phone and like see what's in your fridge, which is freaking genius. But no, that's so you see it across the board, not just groceries, but in general, the plan. And can you talk more? And I know in the program you talk about it even more about like maybe a win to be able to plan easier. I know you have money dates, but what is something that women could start doing now, someone listening, to have a quick win with their finances, whether it's business or personal? Because I know like what I love about y'all is you're like, it's not separate. Like they're interwoven. And if you're using your personal checking for your business finances, we need to change that. Like y'all have obviously recommendations, but what would be something if someone's listening right now and they're like, oh my gosh, we spent so much on groceries, or oh my gosh, we need to get it together and I don't even know where to begin. What's some advice that you would have for them for a quick win?
I will say groceries and eating out can be big line items, right? Like your grocery bill is usually more than your mortgage payment, or your rent. And so when we talk about like that business and personal, you can't totally separate the two, especially like as entrepreneurs who are living your lives through your business finances, paying your family, and then using that money to obviously support your lifestyle. Eating out and groceries are huge. And I remember when I was a brand new I was a client, I started as in Mind Her Business. And when I finally did my numbers, which I was a bad student, so I hope that gives some people hope that are like, I don't want to have to do this. It is so necessary. And I found that 1 month we had eaten, and I'm embarrassed to admit this, but I have a family of 6, keep in mind, I'm talking Canadian dollars for this moment, but we had spent $2,400 on eating out in a month.
Yeah.
And it was a busy month. We had some renos going on. Like there was a few excuses, but they were definitely excuses because that's wild. That didn't include our groceries. Yeah. And what I say to people in our clients is like, eating out though is important to me. Like I love eating out and I don't want to stop eating out. So we're not telling people to budget and like restrict and like stop eating out. I'm like, eating out's important to me. It's not $2,400 important to me.
Yeah. Sure. 100%. Like no, we spend a ton of money on food and like going out to eat or picking up stuff or just even like delivery, like everything, and groceries. And so I'm excited to dig into the program this month as a member and really figure out what do we value, and like mine is sometimes on a busy day. Like I did DoorDash kava today and it's in the fridge for me later because as we record this, it's almost 4 p.m. my time and I haven't eaten all day. And so there's some times where it's like, that is important to me. And is it important a couple times a week? No. But here and there, And so, but I love that you give the freedom and flexibility to be like, you choose what you value versus like, you're going to go on a budget, you're going to slash all this. That's why I was like, what is this program about? Because I need to make sure I'm down with it, But I love that. So definitely, I like that a quick win can be like, look at how much you're going out to eat, look at groceries, and just make a plan around it, and decide what you value. If you are spending X, do you value that? Are you making memories around the table when you go out to dinner, or are you just like constantly going through Chick-fil-A? I mean, and there are seasons of survival mode, right? So I don't knock that. But it's intentional spending, y'all encourage, and saving. So Becca, how about you? A quick win or tip for someone, because that was good for Marley.
I would say, Jordan, you and I actually walked through this together recently. And the value list is huge. So this is deciding where you want to spend your money before the money comes to you. Yeah. And so some of our clients are like, I'm tracking the money, but it's like everything that happened. How do I look to what will happen? How do I plan for what could happen? And that's where the value list comes into play. Where do I want to spend my money? I hate this example because, like, I love Target. I'm never going to not love Target. But if you're going to Target and just, like, chilling and walking the aisles and spending $300 a week, maybe that's your hobby and that makes you happy and it fits into the budget, right? And maybe you're not thinking about where that money could be going. It's literally what your priorities are for your family. It's your season of life. I am in a very tough season of life. My daughter does not sleep. She's turning 5 tomorrow, still doesn't sleep. And so, like, groceries and eating out has been a struggle in this family because I am tired in the afternoon and I want to go to Chick-fil-A because I don't want to have to feed the kids. So when I'm in a season like that, I adjust the priority list. Okay. Yeah. Eating out, I'm going to give myself a larger allotment of money for eating out. And I'm probably like, we're not going to the movies. We're not doing a lot of entertainment. So, like, we can just pull back on that. Or, you know, some months we don't have time or space to do any entertainment at all. So you get to reorganize your value list. And I think that's the best part. You are in control, not only of your money, but where it goes. And you get to decide from month to month, week to week, how that changes. It doesn't have to be set in stone.
I love that it's about values, and like right now in our season of life before kids, it's very much like travel based. So we're heading to Savannah this week for Brad's birthday and doing 3 nights there. And like we did, even though we're buckling down more this month, we're like, okay, we'll go with the nicer hotel. It's his birthday. This will be super fun. And I'm like, you don't want the vacation to come home with you, you know, and I know Dave Ramsey talks about that too. And I love that phrase of like not having it come home with you. And so it was funny, before we hopped on here, Brad's like, hey, I'm going to put we have like one card we need to like tackle and pay off. He's like, hey, I'm going to put some money on that. And I was like, wait, let's go on this trip. And then let's like assess, you know, what we're going to do. Because I'm like, my struggle in the past, I was voice memoing y'all about this, giving y'all content ideas, is like I go hard at whatever I do. And so like in the past, I've paid off debt so hard that then when it came time to pay like bills, it's like, oh, I have to use my card because I spent so much here. You know, it's very much, I don't know if that's an entrepreneur thing or all or nothing mindset.
It is the trap that I fell into. Was like Mondo and I were both working full-time jobs, and we both had 2 part-time jobs because I was literally a psycho and made him like, we're gonna pay off this $90,000 tomorrow. But I found myself stuck in the same thing. I was like, yeah, we just paid that card off, and then I don't know, one of our cars needed to be repaired, and we didn't have that kind of money sitting around. So what happens? It goes right back on the card, and you're stuck in debt payoff forever. Yeah, so debt especially hangs over women's heads. It's like literal emotional baggage for them. And it doesn't have to be. It can be like, yeah, I have a little bit of debt, but like, great, I have a plan for it. Right. And we're also going to live our life and make good money and spend it where we want to spend it, and like not worry about what that means for you. It doesn't mean anything.
Right. It's like, are you being smart about it? Versus like, there have been seasons where like my head has been in the sand. Now being married, my head cannot be in the sand as much. I will say, I was checking our bank account this morning and saw Brad got paid. I was like, this is good. No, it was welcomed. Just because like I pay myself once a month. It's always at the end of the month, and I'm scaling a business, which the expenses just look different right now than they have, and I know they're important. And so I was like, all right, that has been an exciting time checking the account. But I love that y'all talk about being maybe not excited to check your bank account, but not avoiding checking your bank account, right? Because you just know, and like that knowledge is priceless. So I am excited because by the time this airs, it will be soon before your next masterclass. Could you talk a little bit about what y'all will be teaching and what people can learn? And you can click into the show notes to save your spot. It's going to be good. It's going to be free. I'm running some ads for it, so if you see the ad, you better sign up, baby. Or click
Go,
through the
Jordan.
show notes so they don't have to pay for that lead. Maybe they'll prefer that and save a little money. But can y'all talk to your master classes that you'll be running this spring and beyond?
Yeah, I want to kind of elaborate on what we were sharing about getting wins in your business and like steps people can make. Something we're going to talk about in the masterclass is decision making in your business and how your money management can impact that, or how it does. It just inherently does. You're so much more equipped and confident to make decisions quickly when you know what's happening with your money. So we like you said, there's a lot of expenses in your business right now, and you're in a season of growth and it looks a little different. And so when you know your numbers and you know how to project income, you know how to project expenses, it opens up so much data for you to be able to make fast decisions and really move quickly with confidence, rather than like, you know, humming and hawing or twiddling your thumbs or feeling like you're not so black and white when you're moving quickly and making decisions like investment on who's the next investment. Can I afford the next investment? It really gives you a whole like boss energy is like it.
Okay, before you talk about the masterclass, I do have to bring this up because it fits in perfectly with that. Is we were at the expansion experience in January. So lovely, so great. A couple of my clients went. Y'all were one of them, and I want to do it again. And excuse me, when we were there, I was talking to someone, and she was like, "Yeah, I offer this product line." But I don't know, like my bookkeeper just tells me like it's not worth it, and like the numbers aren't worth it. I'm like, how many have you sold in the last year? She said 300, and I was like, oh, that's amazing. And it brought up a conversation where like, A, now I use the product, it's freaking amazing, and B, I was like, Marley, like I was freaking, you know, the t-ball coach hitting the ball so you could go catch it. Like, go talk to her, not just from a sales perspective, but from like a coaching perspective on your end, because when we've talked about this book, your bookkeeper is not your business coach. And so can we talk about that? And then we can talk about the masterclass too. But like, have y'all seen, I mean, y'all have clearly seen it, and you can, what, do you have words on that?
You have done it now, Jordan. Step onto your soapbox, Marley.
I will. You're going to hear my husband talking on his phone in the hallway.
You're good. Anyway. Brad's like made smoothies or his shake before. I'm like, whatever, it's good.
His work from home life, everyone gets it. He'll hear about it later though. Yeah, like we had a really good conversation, this person you're talking to, about her money management system that she had and like the knowledge she had about it. And this person was really just putting like all of her eggs in her bookkeeper's basket. Like she was just taking everything they said at face value and didn't know enough. Like, I don't know what to ask her. Like, I'm just hearing what she says. And, you know, my questions were like, first of all, her bookkeeper was sort of like, sky is falling one month, and then like, oh, you're great this month. And so she would hear that and be in either panic mode or like, wow, we're doing great. And I said, just a quick look at her spreadsheet. I looked at it for like 5 minutes, and I was like, I don't see sky is falling at all here. What is your bookkeeper's background in business? Does she know anything about growing businesses? Is she business minded, or is she just numbers like bookkeeper? Like, you know, does she understand investment? Does she understand like growth? Does she understand? So there was just so many questions I had about like, what is she bringing to the table in terms of giving you advice? Like, she's someone who should be providing
and looking
data.
at a 30-day window. She's looking at 30 days of data, whereas in Mind Her Business, we pull you all the way up to a 12-month vision, right? Like you get to see the whole 12 months, And looking at 30 days of data is not enough to determine if your business is successful or not successful.
No, unless you like, I say this at the intro of my podcast or the trailer, it's like anyone who's playing the long game isn't having a terrible time because you're in it for the long haul. And so, yeah, you want to look at 30 days of data and make a decision for a business you're going to decide to leave in the dust in 6 months, go for it. But yeah, let's look at a year and let's plan a business that's around for 18 months, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Do you want to sell it? Do you want to keep it? Do you want to give it to little ones? Like, that is obviously little ones when they're grown, but I think about my niece because I'm like, oh, Blake would just freaking kill it working with me one day. And but truly, like, what is the vision? Because, and also, what is the money story that the bookkeeper or whoever CPA has? Because that is going to bleed into these conversations. And I don't think people realize that, you know?
Yeah, I actually asked her, now you're jogging my memory now. I asked her a couple questions about it because she had 3 different income streams, this person specifically. And she was thinking that 2 of them were failing, is what sort of the message she was getting from her bookkeeper. And so when I looked at the numbers, I was like, man, like 2 of these income streams, they're not failing. They're actually profitable, 5 figures at the end of the year. So like, to me, maybe I'm missing something. I said, but that's the thing I would ask her, like, ask your bookkeeper these questions. And I said, okay, so that's the number one. Like, the bottom line is they're not failing. They're bringing you income. Definitely not as much as your main income stream. But the next question is then, do you like them? Like, do you actually want to keep doing them? Or like, are they
beats
worth
me? Yeah.
Like, are they worth that maybe they're taking more time and bringing in less revenue. So are you okay with that?
Right.
Do you enjoy them? Are they bringing in less revenue, but they're really like bringing in a lot of leads that are then buying your main thing?
That's what I freaking brought up before I punted or hit the ball your way. I was like, I'm without giving away what we're talking about. Okay, let's say that the person sold safari hats. And then the safari hats, down the road, you became like someone who leads an expedition in Africa and you spent $5,000 to learn how to do it. It's like, hey, if I'm profitable on selling a safari hat and I know in X amount of time they become this like person who's giving safaris, that I make X, they stay in my pipeline, we make money together, I cheer them on, they're building this huge business. Why would you not sell that product? But like, sometimes people's minds, not the person we're talking about, she's like a lovely angel, I love her, but the person leading or giving the numbers, if they have an emotion tied to it, it's like finding a way to make the number emotionless. Is that the phrase? Like, yeah. I think about on a weight loss journey here, right? And so now when I weigh in at the doctor, we look at fat loss, not just weight, because oh my gosh, we went to freaking St. Augustine and I got on the scale last week and I kid you not, I was up 7 pounds. I truly was about to smash that scale with like a hammer. And my doctor, she's lovely, she was like, you're up like 0.7 from fat. She's like, that's all water. And it was like hormonal, it was travel, it was water retention from flying. And so now I know, it took the emotion out of the data because it's like, yeah, that's one number, but here's another number that shows fat and that shows water retention. And so I think about that in a spreadsheet of numbers. It's like, you could look at this and be like, yeah, we haven't sold as much of this and you're defeated. But if you look at the whole, that's why I think, gosh, when people know how long their customer stays with them and what they spend, there's so much freedom in that. Because even y'all with your program, I'm like, okay, your program's X, they want to stay in the bubble with y'all, they want to return. What do we want to spend to acquire them? Mm-hmm. What's worth it to get on a sales call knowing you have an X% chance of closing them? So it's just so wild to me because I always put so much drama around the scale, and now I'm taking that away. I'm trying to take drama away from the numbers of like our family budget, projections for the business. Like, it's a freaking number, you know? And
Well, it's
so,
data.
yeah.
We have this slogan in Mind Her Business: data over drama. Data over drama. Like, it's as simple as that, and the numbers tell their own story, and that story does not lie. Like, numbers don't lie, right? Your emotions lie to you all the time.
Right.
Even on good days, your emotions can lie to you. The other thing is, when you know these numbers, you move through your day informed. There's no like, ooh, should I do this? Oh God, like, this is going to mess everything up. I'm not sure, like, should I have made that decision? That takes up so much mental space. We don't have time for that mental space to be taken up.
Right.
So if you can know what the numbers are when you start your day, even your bank account, your weight, your ad spend, any of those numbers, when you know them at the beginning of your day, plus you already kind of knew what was happening in your bank account before you opened it up and like looked at the numbers, then you move through your day like, yeah, I know what I can do. I know what I can spend. I know what I can eat. I know how much money I'm spending on leads today. I know how many leads are coming in. Like, you can use all of that mental space for so many different things. You can go back in your business and get creative and sell more. You could spend more time with your kids and like not scream at them the whole time. Like, there's
life gets better. Yeah.
Everything is better when you know your numbers.
Yeah.
Everything is better.
Yeah. And it's like getting your head out of the sand. It may hurt for a second, but then it's like you just know. And that's what, you know, I think about. It's just funny how this does translate to weight and health. Like, I think about at my highest weight, I know what I probably weighed, but I just didn't get on the scale until a certain time where I could feel better, probably a couple weeks into trying and making some health shifts. And I'm like, my doctor's like, oh, so that was your highest. I'm like, no, I know it was higher because I needed a minute, you know? And so I think that, but it's like the second I started to look at it just as information, it's like, oh my gosh, yes, I have a way too much ish to get done to worry about that. And the type of mom I want to be and daughters I want to raise down the road. I don't think I say daughter with an S. I think I could only handle one. I truly
talk to me.
Yeah. I'm like, wait, maybe I'll be a boy mom because you're Marley, you're a boy mom, I know, right? Yeah. I always laugh. I'm like, Mom, Dad, how did you do this? Because they had 2 boys, 1 girl, and they're like, Mom, you could not have had 2 of me. But I think of the one I want to be is one that's like steadfast and keeps her head down and does what's called of her and isn't thrown off by the little things, whether it's the scale, the bank account, you know, numbers coming back for 1 month in the business, because you know you're a big picture person, you know what it adds up to. So I think that's so good.
A real life example. This just happened this morning, and the first person I messaged was Marley, not my husband. Let's just let that sink in.
Business wife.
My work wife. I went to the pharmacy to get my son's preventative inhaler so that he does not have asthma attacks, so that we don't end up in the emergency room, right? Like, this is a big deal. And it was $892. And I said, what? Like, have you run my insurance? Yeah, that's with insurance. So, like, I gave myself a minute to be really angry and like, what is happening? I am not going to spend, well, I will if I have to. It's his life.
Yeah,
like, I don't want to spend $900 on an inhaler. Able to, like, okay, take a breath. What's the next step here? So the next step was to call the insurance company, like, do all these things, and I got it worked out. It's not a big deal. But if I didn't know my numbers at home, like my personal and business numbers, that would have sent me. I'd still be reeling over that. I'd still be like, how are we going to pay for that? I don't know if we can pay for that. Like, Max is, we're going to go to the emergency room. How much is that going to be? Like, your brain
the spiral.
It's the spiral that takes you out. And you coming back from a spiral takes so much more effort than being in control of it, getting on top of it, and staying in control of it. It takes so much more effort.
Yeah, it's so... Question. Does GoodRx make it cheaper? Sidebar. I'll message you about that later.
Not much.
I was thinking, if I mail her Jameson's puffers and go tell my pharmacy that I lost them, they'll fill them for free.
I have one. Yeah, don't tell Brad. Brad's always like, I always say, I mean, this is obviously hypothetical, but I have like, I'm off Adderall now and I have so much at the house and I'm like, oh, I could make so much money. I wouldn't. And he's like, he literally can't even say stuff like that. I'm like, oh, okay.
And now it's on a podcast.
Yeah, I don't, but I need to go. You know when like the police have like a day where you can drop stuff off at like a library or fire station or something? I don't even know if it's the police who does it, but I'm like, I need to like offload this. But yes, no. It's just funny as an adult, like I still feel like I'm 20. Olivia and I have been talking about this. I'm like, I just graduated college. This is so weird that like everyone has 5 kids. There's no way. And so I think about like, gosh, we were texting when I was at urgent care. They were like dismissing what I had, but they said like, oh, we'll give you a muscle relaxer. And I still filled it. I'm like, that's adulting when you just like fill a just in case medicine. Well, once I figured out the price, I was like, I'll buy it. It's like $5. But yeah, so that's hilarious. That is, but no, truly circling back, it is knowing that you can has to be so freeing because it's like, wow, this is not what I would like to spend my money on today. And because I have taken the time to own my finances and know what's going on, this is figure outable. And man, I think taking the drama out is so key and smart because my clients, if you're listening, I love all of you, but my clients who
this is not about you.
It is and it isn't, but the ones who are focusing on like the big picture, long game, we're looking at things, I'm showing them what it looks like, they're like all bought in. And then sometimes people struggle, but I think they refocus and are like, it's always like a conversation like, hey, my husband brought this up, or like, hey, we're planning on this, or like maybe they're trying to get away for a while and how is all this going to get done, yada yada, and it brings stuff up. But truly, like, oh gosh, and when I when I produce ad images for people to look at, some people who have more of a technical eye, I can say this, one of my clients and good friends, she's so funny, she like knows what she wants, but we joke like we can't get it out of her brain, so like we have to design something and then she'll tweak it with me on a call. And well, I'll have clients who are like, I don't like that image. I'm like, me either. And it got the lowest cost per lead. And they're like, I like it now. You know, like truly, it's like if it gets a lower cost per click, or there was this one, like, I feel bad saying this, like, just like kind of like funny baby. Like it was just like a cute baby, but it was just kind of like, okay, crawling. And there were other ones, and it performed the best, and the client was like, I would have never thought that. And it just made me laugh. But it's like the numbers show, like I can guess all day long and I do not know until I look in ads manager or Google Analytics. And same for y'all, like until you have clients opening that dang spreadsheet, checking in. You guys are making spreadsheets sexy. I don't even want to call it a spreadsheet. We got to find a new word.
Because that is true.
It makes you feel successful though. Like don't tracker.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't miss that part. It makes you feel successful in your business. Like Jordan, you and I were talking. When you are really good with your clients and you're really good at what you do and your Stripe deposits are like ding 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 in your bank account, and then you like away from looking at your numbers, there's a part of you that's like, I'm not really an actual business owner. I'm just presenting myself as one. But the same thing, y'all, this trickles into your personal life. Your success or feeling like you're successful or not successful in your business and directly related to your money trickles into your personal life. It's how you talk about money. It's how you decide what groceries to get. It's how you decide what school your kid's going to go to and how much you panic over it. True story. That might be speaking from personal experience. But like, it has everything to do. One has everything to do with the other one. And when you feel successful, then you can make so many more decisions faster. You can move your business as fast as you want to move it. You can go as slowly as you want to, but you get to make all the decisions.
Yeah. What is it that Kat and Macy were saying? Myron says like wealth loves speed, and I've heard Myron Golden say that before, wealth loves speed. And I love that because it's like I don't want anything slowing me down. So like I have my business numbers up every day. I'm checking who paid me, checking who owes invoices. I'm looking at gaps for like, okay, could I sell another retainer? What does that look like? Could we sell a branding package? What does this look like? And on the expense side, I'm also like, oh gosh, well now that you'll know this because we're recording this before Valentine's Day, but I'm sending my clients the cutest Valentine's gifts ever, but I'm like a loose cannon doing it. I'm like, Target, mailers, Kelsey designs something, they're so cute. And Brad's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I love my clients, it's fine. But I probably could plan for things like that better, you know, where I'm like, hey, every February, if I want to start doing Valentine's, like take some money from January, take some money from February, and like bank it for this. Like it's just funny. Like
Totally.
I love that what y'all talk about too is that you don't have to sell more. While being able to sell is great, you actually need to keep a hold on the finances you have, get those under control. And then when you're selling more, that's like gravy, baby. So let's talk more about your masterclass and what people can learn and they can register through the show notes. So what will they learn at your upcoming masterclasses? Who wants to go?
You or me?
What did you say, Becca?
I said you or me. Which one? Because I could talk all day.
Oh gosh. Well, let's just start it off by saying the masterclass is going to be a conversation around like what are some steps you can take to get in control of your numbers, and then how is that going to impact your business at the end of the day, and then also your family, your take home at the end of the day. We're going to be giving you like some big beliefs in what money management can do, because we know a lot of people, it doesn't sound very sexy to. It sounds like I'm gonna have to slow down. It sounds like you're gonna tell me what I can and can't spend. And we're going to blow all of that away for you and make sure that you understand this is about getting more of what you want and how to spend with confidence, how to save with confidence. We want you to leave that masterclass feeling empowered, that money management can be really fun. It can make you feel really successful, and it doesn't have to start with you making more money first. It actually shouldn't start with the mindset that when I get more money, then I'll take control. It's like, yes, and you are where you are today. So like, how are you being a good steward of what you have today?
Wow. It's going to be so good. I have a
perfect visual for this, and it might show up in the masterclass. So sneak peek. But this is one that if you can visualize this, like a kitchen colander, like I don't care what it looks like in your house, a kitchen colander, and you have it under the faucet and you are pouring and pouring and pouring water into it, expecting the colander to hold the water. It's not going to. Like the purpose of a colander is to not hold water, but that's what your business looks like when you are really good at sales and really good at signing clients or customers, and you don't have a system for managing money. It's just like money in, money out, money in, money out. And what does that create? More desperation for sales constantly. If you use a glass instead of a colander, then the sales that are pouring in start overflowing, and that's overflowing into your business, into your mental space, into your finances, into your personal life, into all the decisions that you can make. Like, do you want your business to be a colander or do you want it to be a glass?
I love that. I want it to be a glass.
We had
You're helping me. We're good.
Just this morning share with us that she did our Find 5,000 challenge that we offer now. And you can find it on our Instagram today or soon.
Yes.
And she said, I sat down. It did only take me 30 minutes. That's what we promised. And in just looking at one category in her spending, in her personal spending, she actually found $6,000 in personal spending that she felt they could easily cut because it didn't feel aligned with the goals that she had. And she's like, I found $6,000. So it felt like I found $500 this month. And I said, well, that's $6,000 at the end of the year. So what are you going to do differently with $6,000 now? Whether that be keep it in your business and use it there to invest, to hire help, to, you have so many choices now, or use it in your personal and spend it on something in that space that you want. Invest it, save it, go on a fancy trip. Like, what are all the things? Like, now you have choice because you chose to manage your money, to take control of it. You have choices now.
That was one category. She only went through one category.
It's so good. Okay, so we're going to link that in the show notes too. We're going to have the Find 5,000 challenge. So here's what they need to do. They need to register for the masterclass, free masterclass. Then they need to register for the Find 5,000 challenge and find money in your life and business that's there and you don't even realize you're spending it. And then I'm also going to book a call link with y'all, because if someone's listening and you're like, wait, they are for me, I need help, definitely get on a call with them and just talk through what it would look like to work together. Mind Her Business is such a great program and helping so many women, myself included. I'm starting this month. Liv is getting started with me this month too. Olivia Miller, shout out. And there's a lot of people in the program. I mean, you're helping tons of women, which is then it's generational change. And so that's the other thing, is like I never wanted to pass along my struggles with like weight or body image to a child, especially a daughter. And also money, it's like generational wealth is such a gift, and just knowing how to spend well and save well is just something like, it's just a gift that you you cannot replace that gift. So if you all are listening and you're like, okay, I want to work with them, check the show notes for different ways, because the master classes are going to be so good. The Find 5,000 challenge is 10 out of 10. We just redid the branding on it and it looks so good. And then also get on a call with them, because you guys can chat through ways to work together. But I know y'all are so passionate about changing women's story with money. Is there anything you want to add to that before we go to the fun part?
I think the last thing for me, then Marley, your turn, Marley. Your habits that you have today with $1,000 or $10,000, whatever you're earning, are literally the same habits that you'll have when you're making $1 million if you don't decide to change those. So it's just a choice, and it's habit and behavior, right, Mar? Like we never see anything so crazy that we're like, ooh. I don't think we can.
Not yet. Once you go through Jordan Perry, no, I'm just kidding. No, you guys really are so gracious to people, and that's what I had heard before we even worked together, is that gosh, this was such a high compliment from Emily Judice. She was like, you don't need X. Like, we were having a conversation about something. She was like, you need to know how to manage the money you're making through all these sales right now with Becca and Marley, because as it grows, the habits will grow with you, good or bad, right? And so I thought that was such a high compliment. How about you, Marley? Anything else you'd say before we switch to the fun part?
That was like makes me want to cry. We work with all different types of business owners. Like if you make money, you need money management, right?
Yeah.
And I think that what I want people to know is that like it's a safe space, because money is so vulnerable, and showing somebody what's happening with your money can be really intimidating, or there's a lot of shame that can come with it if you haven't been organizing it. We all feel like we should be so much smarter or further along or know more than we do. And like Becca and I try, and we pride ourselves on creating a really safe place for women to be able to come and ask the questions that they feel, you know, that they should already know the answer to, or to show us that they spent $2,400 in 1 month on eating out, and that it's okay. And like, we've done all of it. We've asked all the questions. We've made all the mistakes ourselves. That's why we feel so equipped to be able to support women through their money management journey, and also create that place for them to come and feel comfortable asking or sharing or showing what's going on behind the scenes, so we can help them move through it. Good.
Y'all are the people to trust and work with. If people listening are like, I need help with my money management, both in business and personal life, I can vouch for y'all 110%. So I want to get to the fun part. This is the Clicks and Giggles podcast. So as entrepreneurs, business owners, women, moms, just busy women in general, you don't have to be an entrepreneur to listen, but if you do, you'll probably get a little more out of it. What do you all do for fun? What's making you giggle right now? Even if it's like, gosh, sweet Susie Holman was like, I take a bath every day. Sometimes I take 2 baths a day. I'm like, I take a bath every day. So that's like one of my things. I love getting blowouts. That's in our budget, our family budget. What about y'all? What's a guilty pleasure? Anything you like doing for fun? Maybe like on a grand scheme or a small thing. Who wants to go first? You guys are in the trenches with little ones. It's so different.
I'm like, yeah. So the last 10 years of my life, I have 4 boys. and I am Canadian, if I haven't made that clear. And so hockey is a big part of our life. And so we live at the hockey rink.
Wow.
We go a lot. And my husband coaches. He runs the local minor hockey league. He's on the board. And so, like, there's just a lot of our life revolves around our kids right now. But one thing we try to do, which is like kind of the same thing, we try to go to the NHL games every now and then. We've got to travel to another city. And so we got out last weekend and we went to the game. We went to a bar afterwards, and I have not been to a bar in a very long time. And we had fun. And it was nice. So we're trying to prioritize more date nights right now and like getting time together.
Yeah.
Now that we're out of the like trenches, our little guy's going to be 4 this month. So that's what we do for fun. Hockey.
I love it. Boy mom life. But I'm proud of you for prioritizing your marriage too. That's great. Yeah. How about you, Becca?
Well, I'd forgotten we have seasons passes to our like Major League Soccer team here in Charlotte. Yes. So Mondo and I both grew up playing soccer like pretty seriously, and we love going to those games. So we got season tickets to those games. But like, you know, that's not every day in the house.
Right.
We have music all the time in this house. We're dancing, we're singing, we have music on all the time. My kids love Justin Bieber just like I do. I've trained them up right.
Yes.
Like, I was just sitting here thinking, what do I do for fun? Like, what's
That's
fun?
A hard question.
I play in spreadsheets. That's fun. But Max is my son. Millie got a makeup kit for Christmas. And she has been obsessed with doing my makeup every night. I don't even think Marley knows this. Every night she does my makeup. And by the way, these are like wild colors. We're like orange, green, purple. Like I look like I'm wearing tribal makeup at the end of the night. But it's so fun to watch her paint her own face. And she's actually really good with makeup. And then she does my face. And then she does her nails. And then she puts on this, I wish I could show you, but I don't have it. This like blue sparkly dress that I wore in our engagement photos. And she puts her high heels on and she just dances around the house. I'm like, this is what life is about. Like, if I would miss this, if I were not focused, if I were focused on like what we didn't have money wise, I would miss those parts of life. And it's just so sweet to see her like just being.
It's sweet. It's
it
making me
want to just be.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, and that's like such a sweet, that's a free moment in life, right? And to like enjoy the little things. No, that makes me cry. It's like, it could be as big as going to a hockey game or going to a soccer game. And it's like having the peace at night to enjoy 20 minutes of getting your glam on with your little nugget. I love that. That's
I'll send you a picture tonight.
Please do. I'm like, wait, do we need to link that in the show notes? That's amazing. No, I love it so much. I am so glad y'all were here today. And if anyone's listening that has had this resonate with them, please head to the show notes and just follow them, binge their content, get signed up for the masterclass. And I cannot wait to hear about listeners who start to work with y'all and just can't wait to bear witness to the good work that you are doing for women with their finances. I'm thankful to know y'all and also thankful to work with y'all.
Ditto.